G'day, I'm Stewie.
And I'm Christian.
And we'd like to welcome you back to Learnsy. We're both school teachers and we've created this channel to try and impart our knowledge about how we teach young children how to read in the classroom and give you the tools to be able to teach your children at home. Today is the third video where we're breaking down one of the 5 reading strategies that we've talked about. So today, Christian is going to be talking about blending and segmenting words and what that looks like when you're reading with your child at home.
So I'm using the same book that I referred to in the last video, Pip. And this will just help remind us what we were talking about. So let's start with segmenting and then we'll talk about blending. So segmenting is taking a word like the title of this book, Pip, and then splitting it into the sounds that it's made up of. So p, ip, p. And then blending is the process of taking all those individual sounds and blending them back together into one word. So pip rather than p, ip, p. So next, I'm going to explain and read this book to you as if I was already a beginner reader, and I'll explain to you how you can react as a parent when you're reading with these really simple words. Because when you're starting to read, it's important that you're patient and you just give them time to think through what sounds they're saying. Because the thing is, it's 2 separate skills. Remembering the sound, the segmented sound, and then blending is a completely different skill other than remembering the sound itself. So remember, there's a lot going on in that little brain of theirs. Let's get started. Starting with this book that we just introduced, Pip. So when you're starting to read and your child is reading the book itself, they'll be sounding it out like this. P, I, Pip. And they might go through this process of trying to blend it and say the sounds multiple times before they actually get the word. And then they're quite happy when they get it. But this is a process that you have to allow them to go through. Otherwise, interrupting it can make them feel like they're doing it wrong. And I know us adults, we kind of feel like we want to get it right, but we want to encourage them and be patient with them. So again, we can ask them to read this. What does it say here? And then they can sound it out. Ip. Because the repetition and the practice of saying the sounds, it helps them to make those connections in their brain between the neurons that help them connect the sound to the picture of the letter itself. And then it becomes more and more like a muscle memory or a neuron memory. So let's have a look over here. So we'll start over here. Sam, pats, pats, ip, pip. And then at that point, another really good strategy is rereading. So sometimes we say, as teachers we say, first you read it to sound it out and then you read it to make sense of it. So you have Sam, pats, pip. And then the second time, you're able to comprehend rather than just decode. So rather than just translating what it says in sounds, you're actually understanding what the words are meaning. And then you can look and redirect them to have a look at the picture. And you can maybe ask them the question, who is Pip? And then they can look around and they can also see that Pip is identified here, this little dog. P-ip, Pip. And then we can move on to the next page. Or they might be distracted by this little word here and they want to sound out, pat, pat. Then you can maybe ask them, what is pat? And then they can describe that the dad and Sam are actually patting the dog. So this is another way for them to integrate their understanding of what's happening and to, with the words that are written on the page. Dad, dad, p-at, pats, p-ip, pip. Dad, pats, pip. Okay, I'm not going to go through the whole book like that, but you get the idea that giving them time to read out the sounds they know into the words, practicing the segmenting, practicing the blending back into the words, and then the understanding. So there's these different layers that you'll go through. And also learning to use the pictures and that the pictures are connected to the text itself. That's something that we've also mentioned in a previous video. Okay, I'm not going to go through any more, but I just want you to understand it's really important when you're going through books, take your time, explore the books, enjoy the books, and keep it a very low pressure, fun thing. If they get a little bit tired, because you remember their concentration will be tiring if they're just a beginner reader. Maybe 3 pages is enough for one night and you could read the rest, okay? So it's not about doing everything at once. It's about just doing what feels good and then pausing, taking a break and doing it another time.
So remember, the biggest thing when children are reading these early reading books, as a parent and as teachers, we really want to have patience with them. It's all taking new knowledge, it's sounding out new words, there's a lot going on. So if they come to a word, as in like in this book, pip, and they sound it out, ip, and then that word you can see is on exactly the next page and they need to sound that out again, that's okay. They're just on their learning continuum like we've spoken about before. Needing to sound out or segment those words, that's where they're at. As a parent or a teacher, we really just need to have the patience to let them work through that. It doesn't really create a great environment if you ask or you tell them, we've just had that word, we've just seen that word, you should know that word. That can really create some anxiety in the child. So it's really important that we are caring, that we are patient with our children when they're learning to read, and especially these new reading books. So look, thanks so much again for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the content. If you've got any questions or you'd like to leave any comments, please do so below, and we hope to see you again soon. Thanks for all your support and thanks for watching.
Bye.
See ya.